Hello Beatles fans! Today, we're looking into one of the most fascinating stories in music history. When the Beatles released their iconic White Album in 1968, they did something truly unique. They individually numbered every single copy. And the lowest numbers have become the stuff of legend and myth. But what happened to them? Who owns them now? And what price did they pay for the ultimate piece of Beatles memorabilia? We're going to uncover the hidden history of the very first White Albums and the myth around the mysterious original UK number 000005. The White Album number 1 through number 4. The first 4 individually numbered copies of the Beatles' White Album were given directly to the band members. Number 1 was given to Ringo Starr, number 2 was taken by John Lennon, number 3 went to Paul McCartney, and George Harrison received number 4. Who received number 5? There is some conflicting information about who received the 5th copy. Some sources claim that number 5 was the first album sold to the public, while others suggest it was given to producer George Martin or possibly to John Lennon. Lennon was given number 2, and there is speculation he may have distributed the first 10 copies. We know for certain that he owned a copy with the number 6. This specific copy was given by Lennon to his personal chauffeur and bodyguard, Les Anthony, and was eventually sold at auction for $162,500. Number 7 was reportedly given to George Martin. This copy was sold at auction in 2008. According to reports, number 9 was given to the band's press officer, Derek Taylor. Number 11, which was signed by John Lennon, was sold at auction. It is believed to have been part of a batch of low-numbered albums sent to Capitol Records president Stan Gordokoff, who then sent them to George Harrison. Number 12 belonged to George Harrison and was gifted to a friend of his. Despite its poor condition, it was sold at auction for £3,650. Regardless of the previous owner, low-numbered copies are highly valued by collectors. Ringo sold number 1. Of the first 4 copies of the Beatles' White Album, only number 1, which belonged to Ringo Starr, has been publicly sold. Starr kept the album in a bank vault for over 35 years before it was sold at Julien's Auctions in 2015 for a record-breaking $790,000. The buyer has chosen to remain anonymous. The other 3 copies, belonging to John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison, have not been offered for sale on the public market. Where is number 5 now? In November 2008, a user with the ID AGM67 put number 5 up for auction on eBay. The seller did not disclose their identity or how they came to own the album. The listing drew significant worldwide attention, as it was the lowest numbered copy to ever be sold publicly at that time. The auction ended with a winning bid of £19,201, approximately $29,141. The winning bidder was an anonymous individual from Linz, Austria, and the album's current whereabouts are unknown. Number 5 and the myth of the 5th Beatle. Legend whispers that the first 4 numbered copies of the Beatles' White Album were a quaternity of earthly treasures, each bound to the souls of Lennon, McCartney, Harrison, and Starr. But the 5th, number 5, was a different kind of artifact. It was not a reflection of a Beatle, but a vessel for the spirit of the band itself, containing the collective genius, raw creative energy, harmony, and discord that made them whole. The myth of the 5th Beatle is not a title to be earned through merit or association, but a destiny granted by the album itself. It is said that the owner of number 5 possesses a unique, symbiotic link to the band's legacy. When the owner listens to the album, they don't merely hear the music. They feel the very essence of the band's tumultuous, beautiful journey. The scratching of a needle against a vinyl is the sound of their struggles. The harmonies are the echoes of their shared laughter. And the raw, unpolished tracks are the very heartbeat of their youth. The owner of this copy holds a key to a secret chamber of the Beatles' history, and in doing so, they become a living, breathing part of their story. They don't just possess the album, they possess the very spirit of the 5th Beatle, a silent guardian of the music's soul. Really? No, really? The concept of a 5th Beatle is not tied to the ownership of a physical object. but rather to a person's significant involvement with the band. The term is an informal title for someone who had a crucial role in their success, but was not one of the four core members. The title of fifth Beatle is usually reserved for the likes of Brian Epstein, George Martin, and people like original drummer Pete Best and original bassist Stuart Sutcliffe, who were literally the fifth member of the band at one point. Production. The total number of original individually numbered copies of the Beatles' White Album is a subject of some debate among collectors. It is estimated that approximately 4 million copies of the UK pressing were produced with a serial number and embossed title. The numbering in the US went well beyond 2 million, and the album was manufactured at multiple record plants, including those in Los Angeles, California, Jacksonville, Illinois, and Scranton, Pennsylvania. In the UK, the album was pressed at the EMI plant in Hayes, Middlesex. The covers for the original UK pressings were printed by Garrett and Lofthouse Limited, and their name is often embossed on the back cover. Individual numbering. The numbering on the covers were not done by hand, but was machine stamped with a unique serial number as an automated part of the printing and production process. This was part of a concept by artist Richard Hamilton to create an ironic situation of a numbered edition of something like 5 million copies. Production of the numbered copies began in 1968 and continued for several years. However, the numbering system was eventually discontinued, with later pressings having a plain white sleeve without the embossed number. More than one number one. Yes, there is more than one number one. Due to the different manufacturing and numbering systems used in the UK and the USA, there are at least 3 copies with that number. The Ringo Starr-owned UK version of number 1 is the most famous and valuable. The UK's numbering system was a single, continuous sequence for all pressings. However, the US numbering system varied by the pressing plant. For instance, the Scranton plant used an A prefix, so numbers started at A1. The Los Angeles plant had its own version, which started with a 6-digit number with leading zeros. This means that while Ringo's is the definitive number 1, there are indeed other covers with that number from different countries and different manufacturing plants. Beware of counterfeits. Yes, it's known in the record collecting world that people create fake numbered versions of the Beatles' White Album.
Oh, fucking hell, what's that?
A common counterfeiting technique is to take one of the later, unnumbered pressings and add a fake number. A serious collector will never rely on the number on the cover alone. And that's the story of the very first White Albums. From Ringo's personal copy to the ones that disappeared into private collections, each one holds a piece of music history. While the myth of the fifth Beatle is pure fiction, collecting original numbered copies of the Beatles' White Album has become an obsession for fans, collectors, and audiophiles around the world. How many original numbered copies of the White Album have you collected? Share your comments in the section below. Please like and subscribe for more exciting features on your favorite artists. And you can watch this additional informative video from What's the Story right now.